It's time to continue our adventures in Pokémon Yellow, and today we are running our second ever Pokémon, Ursaring. In our original adventure with Ursaring in Crystal, it held on to top spot for roughly 9 challenges, and then stayed in the top 10 for a very long time, so we have high expectations for this line as we go into Yellow, but of course it's all different in Yellow, so we'll be starting off with a type disadvantage and it will be an uphill battle from there. Let's now take a look at the stats of our Teddy Ursa, and we have 22 HP at level 5, we've got 14 in attack, 11 in defense, 10 in speed and 11 in special. And in terms of our moves, we're starting with Scratch and Leah. Let's now get this challenge underway, and our first battle is right here in Oak's Lab, where we're taking on the rival for the first time. He's got Eevee, we've got Teddy Ursa, and I think this is going to be a one-sided affair here. Just 3 scratches is all it takes to defeat the Eevee. We'll grow to level 6, and now we can start heading north towards Pewter City. En route there, of course, I will show you the very first encounter with a wild Pokemon, and it's a level 6 Pidgey this time. Pidgey uses Sand Attack, which does slow us down ever so slightly, but much like against the Eevee, it was 3 Sand Attacks to knock it out, and we're at level 12 by the time we meet Brock. In the interim, we have learnt Lick, which is a very good move against Brock because it will run neutral, and it will also make him use those full heals that he absolutely adores using. The bad news is, we don't seem to be doing much damage at all at the moment. We are only on 20 HP as the Onix comes out. Onix traps us in a bind, and I think it's all over from here. There's nothing we can do, we're down to 4, we're going to have to take a reset. We could possibly get through at level 12, but I reckon the best plan is to just get an extra level or 2. Sometimes that's all it takes to turn a battle on its head and change it from one that you're not going to win very easily to something that's more of a trivial affair. This female Nidoran very kindly gave us her experience points there, and we'll go back into face Brock once more. This time we are level 15, let's see how much better or worse we do this time. We're going to employ the same strategy as last time, but just hope the higher damage output is all we need. Onix then makes a big misplay though by using Bide. That gives us an opportunity to start lowering its defences with Leah, because we know it's going to be harmless for a few turns. That means Lick is also doing a lot of damage, combine it with Brock's obsession with full heals, and we get through this time in 11 minutes and 40 seconds. And with nothing of note happening in Mount Moon, we might as well make our way over to our next gym together. This is Misty, she's our second gym leader, she's a water-type specialist. She's got a Staryu and a Starmie, so let's see how it goes. We're going to start off scratching against the Staryu, we take it deep into the yellow on turn 1 and knock it out on turn 2. We grow to level 22 and we get Feint Attack, which is a dark-type move, and that will be super effective against the Starmie. However, we only have 37 in special attack, so it's not doing enough at the moment to knock her out. So once again, we're going to have to get some levels. We're going to get just 1 level this time, I think that's all we'll need, and it was courtesy of this Mankey. Of course, we're going to relearn Feint Attack, and then we'll go back in with Misty, and we'll see if we do any better this time. So once again, this is Misty, and she leads with Staryu. We're going to go for Scratch against the Staryu, we're doing roughly the same damage as before. Starmie comes out, we're going to Feint Attack again. Critical hit on turn 1 is a lot of damage, and then she goes for an X-Defend of all things. That gives us the win, and we get our second badge in 19 minutes and 35 seconds. Of course, after Misty, we have a battle with the rival. And after beating up Misty, I don't think this is going to be any issue whatsoever. We've got Scratch, a very powerful stab move for early on in the game. It's a 2-shot on the Spearow, it's going to be a 2-shot on Sandshrew as well. Rattata's the weakest of the lot, going down in 1, and then it's back to 2 hits for Eevee. We're through the rival in a very quick time of 20 minutes and 12 seconds, and now we can start heading towards the SSN. En route to the SSN, we learnt Dig, which in this generation is 2-turn Earthquake, and on the SSN itself we get TM8, which is Body Slam. Body Slam's a huge upgrade over Scratch, and it has the chance to paralyse, and it's just in time for rival number 3. Body Slam's a 1-shot on Spearow, that means it's definitely a 1-shot on Rattata. Sandshrew doesn't stand a chance, neither does the Eevee. 4 simple 1-shots to get through the third rival battle, and now we'll have a little chat with the captain of the SSN. He's feeling a little bit ill, but after rubbing his back he gives us the cut HM. That means we have our cue to leave and we can get into our third gym together. This is of course Lieutenant Surge's electric type gym. And in case you missed it last time, I keep the timer paused while I'm doing the trash can puzzle. I leave the building and then go back in with the timer running. Surge is going to be a very trivial affair here, it's just a pair of body slams to take care of him. We decline to learn rest because it's not that good in Generation 1, and we earn ourselves our third badge in 26 minutes and 43 seconds. Right, let's start heading towards that dreaded rock tunnel. En route, we battle this bug catcher, and you may notice we're level 29 at the moment. We're going to grow to level 30 against this Venonat, and this is where we say goodbye to Teddy Ursa. It's been fantastic for 25 levels, but we will welcome Ursaring in its place. And I do just want to say the Ursaring sprite is a little bit chonky, maybe a little bit too big and a little bit too bulky, but it's the best I could do in a Generation 1 setting. We knock out the rival Sphero in one shot. It's going to be a one shot on Magnemite as well. Shelder puts up no resistance, neither does Sandshrew, and neither does Eevee. That 130 base statted attack really is coming in very handy at the moment. Of course, to get to the top of the Lavender Tower and obtain the Pokeflutes, we need to deal with some nonsense in Celadon City. It starts off with this pair of idiots, Jesse and James, who are no issue, and then we get to the main meat of the challenge here. It's going to be our first battle with Giovanni. So let's see how we get on. He's got an Onyx, we've got Dig, that's super effective, so we know how that goes. A critical hit there was unnecessary. We'll dig against the Rhyhorn as well. And then the last Pokemon is Persian. He uses Payday, that's going to give us some slight extra boost to our cash, and then we knock it out in one shot. We obtain the Sylph Scope, which means we can head back towards Lavender Town. But while we're in the neighbourhood, we might as well take on another gym. Erica's got a gym here in Celadon City. She's a grass-type specialist and she leads with Tangela. And the fact that Body Slams are one-shot against Tangela means the rest of the Pokemon don't stand any chance whatsoever. Tangela's got ridiculous physical defense, so it's a good litmus test for how well we're going to do throughout the course of this challenge. We've now got to get out of here because the trees have grown back, and we make our way into Lavender Tower once more. This time we get to see what the ghost is, and it's a Marowak. We're going to use Feint Attack, it only seems fitting. 3 Feint Attacks knocks it out. We help it depart into the afterlife once more, but then we get ambushed by this lot again. They really are just a big joke in this challenge. There's nothing at all about them that's threatening. So we will make them blast off once more after defeating their wheezing, and then we can have a little chat with Mr. Fuji. Now he's scared of ghosts and was trapped here at the top of the tower, so we escort him back home, and he gives us the Pokeflute. That's going to allow us to wake up the Snorlax, however we've already got a bear, so we don't really care about having a Snorlax. Instead, we're going to make a brief diversion into Silphco. We're not dealing with the main bit of Silphco at the moment, we're just getting ourselves TMO3, which is Swords Dance. That's going to boost our already massive attack, and because of the badge boost glitch, it will give us a much needed kick up the bum with our speed as well. Let's test it out against Koga. He's going to be our 5th gym leader together. He's a poison type specialist who leads with Venonat. We'll get off a Swords Dance, we'll body slam the Venonat, it goes down in 1, as does the 46 and as does the 48. That leaves Venomoth left to go. We use body slam as it drinks us slightly, we knock it out in one shot, and that's the soul badge in 44 minutes and 57 seconds. I tried digging out of here because I'm not quite sure of the rules of digging out of buildings yet. Seems you can only do it in tall towers, so we'll go back into a tall tower now, where we've got the 5th rival battle waiting for us, and this time of course he's going to lead with Sandslash. We'll set up a Swords Dance and then we'll try to get attacking. Unfortunately for us, Sandslash spams Sand Attack, I suppose it's in its name, and that means the wheels fall off this battle. There's not much we can do now. We are going to be losing. I tried badge boosting for special, it doesn't work. We'll take a reset and we'll try again. We just get through with Brute Force this time against the Sandslash. We set up against the Cloyster and Clamp misses. It's going to be a 2-shot with Body Slam against Cloyster now. Magneton comes out to play, it doesn't have the steal so it goes down in 1. Psybeam barely tickles us as we one-shot Kadabra and then we'll one-shot Flareon with a critical hit. Rival 5 all done and dusted, and our reward for that is a Lapras. Lapras is going to be helping us out with Surf and Strength in this challenge, and it's a much needed addition to the team. We'll need to get to Cinnabar in a moment, but first it's more of these two. And seeing Jesse and James has been one of the things that has really thrown me about Generation 1 as opposed to Generation 3 Kanto. It's a very big change of pace from having all of those rocket grunts everywhere. I'm not quite sure what I think of them yet. They're definitely some much needed comic relief during the rocket sections, but I wonder if they're going to get old very quickly. Anyway, it's time for another battle with Giovanni now, and it's going to go exactly the same way as the last one. When you're running a normal type, having early access to Dig in Generation 1 is an absolute godsend, because it covers all of the Pokemon that are going to resist your normal type moves. It's super effective against the rock type, and it's super effective against all the ghosts in Generation 1. We say goodbye to Giovanni, we can then get ourselves a Master Ball, we'll dig out of Silphco, arguably causing more damage than Team Rocket did, and we'll make our way into our next gym together. This is Sabrina. She is a Psychic type specialist, and she leads with Abra. Now, she loves to reduce our accuracy, so we're just going to have to play around it. She uses Kinesis and Flash on turns 1 and 2 with Abra and Kadabra, but we do have Feint Attack to pivot back to. Feint Attack is great because it is always going to hit, but it's not doing enough damage. We risk a Body Slam and it pays off, and that's Sabrina all completed in a much easier battle than we probably should have had. 50 minutes and 40 seconds for the Marsh badge. Let's now surf down south of Pallet Town onto Cinnabar Island, where we're going to have our 7th gym battle together. This one is going to be Blaine. He is a fire type specialist, and what would you know, we've got a super effective move against him. And so we're once again going to take advantage of the Generation 1 TM pool by setting up a Swords Dance, and then we'll try to sweep. Ninetales and Rapidash both go down in one, Rapidash helping us out a little bit with a takedown there. Out comes Arcanine, he sets up a Reflect, but it's too little too late. We knock it out in one, and that's Blaine defeated in 52 minutes and 59 seconds. We've only got one gym badge left to go, but it's going to be a very tricky one. This is where our very low base speed comes into play. We've only got 55 in speed, and that means we're not going to outspeed anything at Giovanni unless we set up a couple of Swords Dances to activate the badge boost glitch. However, we've got to be careful, because if we level up, we lose our boost to speed. And that's exactly what happened here. We're on to Nidoqueen now, and we are at very low health. We don't one-shot Nidoqueen, and we end up taking a reset. We're going to battle some of the trainers in the gym now, and you may notice by the fact the music hasn't changed, we don't get through at level 46 either. We get a much better attempt than we did last time, but one of the things I need to learn as a Generation 1 runner now is the best strategy for setting up against all of the different key trainers we'll see throughout the course of the adventure together. So that's going to be a fairly steep learning curve, but it's nothing we haven't done in Pokemon Crystal already. If you look back at some of the very early challenges in Crystal, you can definitely see there were places where I struggled then that we definitely wouldn't struggle together in now, especially when it comes to a Pokemon like Ursaring. We don't have the benefit of the Quick Claw in this generation either, and that means we're relying entirely on our in-battle stat totals. The good news is, in Giovanni's gym, it's very easy to get ourselves extra levels. We get up to 47 courtesy of this Tamer, and we'll try once more. Hopefully that will be the end of all our issues against Giovanni, and this time we're going to set up against the Persian instead of Dugtrio. Persian is much less of a threat to us than Dugtrio is. It doesn't have Fissure for a start. We knock out the Persian, we one-shot Nidoqueen this time. We get hit kind of hard by Double Kick from Nidoking, but we're still in the green for the Rhydon. We'll use Dig on turn 1, we take it deep into the red. Rock Slide barely tickles us, we knock it out on turn 2, and that's all 8 badges acquired in 57 minutes and 34 seconds. That means we can start heading towards Victory Road. We're going to get ambushed by the rival for one last time on the way there though. Let's see how we get on this time. He starts with Sand Slash, so we're going to use a Body Slam. We don't get poisoned by Poison Sting and we knock it out in 2. Executes next, we use Feint Attack, but we end up being poisoned. Cloyster's next, and this is where I need to get out of the Generation 2 mindset. I went for a special move because I'm so used to Cloyster having no special defense, but it did next to nothing at all. We end up getting clamped, and when we combine that with poison, we're gonna have to take a reset. So we'll start all over again. We're back on the cloister now, we one-shot it this time, we decline the option to learn Snore, and we are on to Magneton. That's a nice and simple one-shot, even with the Reflect, Kadabra goes down. We'll body slam the Flareon, we knock it out in one as well. We will say goodbye to the rival in under an hour, and we'll start making our way into the Pokemon League. Of course, the first thing we'll do is heal up, whether we need to or not, and now it's time to thank our HM friends. So, in this generation, we are going to be saying thank you to Kenya, to Abra, to Lapras, and it's going to still be merci to Paris. You've all been a great help during this challenge together. Get yourselves some well-deserved rest. We'll get our 4 full restores, which we'll either need or we won't, and now we'll take a look at our stats going into the league. And this time we're shaping up like this. We're level 49 with 177 HP. We've got 163 in attack, 107 in defense, just 89 in speed, and 107 also in special. Our moves are Body Slam, Sword Stance, Dig, and Feint Attack. And our first league member is Lorelei. She is an Ice-type specialist, and she's going to lead with Dugong. Now, her AI is pretty terrible. She uses Takedown, and then she goes for Rest, and that is just free setup for us. We'll Body Slam the Dugong, we'll Body Slam the Cloister because we've learnt our lesson, and we'll also Body Slam Slowbro. 3 for 3, and we don't get punched by Jinx, so we make it 4 for 4, and then it's 5 for 5 with the Lapras. Lorelei, very easy compared to Generation 3. Let's move on to Bruno. Now, good old Bruno is a fighting type specialist, which means on paper he has the type advantage, but honestly he's just a bit naff really. We'll set up against the Onix and then we'll get to sweeping once more. And while one of our issues is lack of base speed, he's definitely got a bigger issue with that. We're able to outspeed all of his Pokemon even with the level disadvantage. And that in turn provides a very, very simple Bruno battle. We'll finish off his Machamp and we'll get through him in 1 hour, 3 minutes and 31 seconds. And now it's time for Agatha. Now, out of all of the key trainers we've seen here in this particular adventure, this is definitely the one where I feel like I let Ursaring down. I'm not familiar with Agatha's learn set yet, and I made the assumption that she only had Lick to try and attack us with. So that meant on the first attempt, I was trying to set up completely against the Gengar, but Confuse Ray really wrecked our day. We were only on 33 HP for Pokemon number 2, and we have to take a reset. We're going to set up a single Sword Stance this time, and our hope is that we get a very short confusion. We one-shot Gengar, we'll use Body Slam against Golbat to knock it out in 1. We're no longer confused, and that means the rest of the battle should go fairly smoothly from here. Because now it is just a marathon of digging. We're going to dig against all of her Pokemon with Psychic barely tickling us at all, and we are through Agatha in a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Our final league member is Lance. Lance is the liar with the soon-to-be flyers, and he's going to lead, much like in Generation 2, with Gyarados. And this is one of those battles where we're going to try and go big and not go home. We set up a Sword Stance and we Body Slam the first 2 Pokemon. The third Dragonair is no problem either, and even though Aerodactyl resists Body Slam, it's still a 2-shot. We end up surviving 2 Hyper Beams in a row, and that also gives us the in we need because he had to recharge. That let Body Slam finish off the battle, and we are through Lance in a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes and 14 seconds. And with that, there's only one more battle left to go. It's time to face punctuation for one last time. And our plan here is high risk, high reward. We're going to set up against Sandslash, and then we're going to get our Broom out and sweep. After we've set up, we have 617 in attack. There is nothing that will withstand our pure power. It is just as simple as pressing Body Slam 6 times and we win. And that gives us our final time of 1 hour, 5 minutes and 56 seconds. That was a very, very fun challenge indeed. As is the nature with playing with an Ursaring, you use your stats to your advantage. You go for high attack and then you go for sweeping. And it paid off dividends in this one because we're in first place on the leaderboard. It is a much, much closer affair in yellow than it was in crystal, with only about 6.5 minutes separating them this time. But we will have to see just how long Ursaring's reign lasts this time. But with that, we are done. So I really hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, make sure to leave a like. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more just like this. And until next time, when we're running an electric type Nuzlocke through Pokemon Crystal, I'll say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.